Good morning, friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kristen. I am the maker behind DoSo Knits, and this is my channel where I share with you guys how knitting has interwoven into my life and along with some other fiber crafts along the way as well. Today's video is episode 41 of my DoSo Knits podcast, where I talk about the projects I have finished and what I'm working on, and then what things I've also brought in as well. So I hope you have something cozy to drink. This morning I am drinking just a black coffee from this beautiful mug from Monty Potts from a Homespun Houses marketplace. It's a ceramic mug. I absolutely love it. Just drinking a black coffee in there this morning. It's my second cup of the day, and I hope you are cozy, have something to work on, maybe something warm to drink, and we can dive into it today. The first thing I wanted to mention this morning is a little admin from the previous episode. In episode 40, my last podcast episode, I posted a Google form to give out patterns for this December holiday season and to celebrate 40 episodes of my podcast. I left it open a little longer than I initially intended, but I have sent out the patterns to the randomly drawn winners this morning, and anyone who donated to my Ko-Fi account to help me give out more patterns to other knitters. Thank you so much. It really allowed me to spread more patterns to more people, and if you received a pattern, I hope you enjoy it. I really enjoyed seeing what you guys were interested in knitting, and there were some really kind comments on there, so thank you guys so much. But I just wanted to give a little update on that Google form, on that little giveaway. I have contacted the winners today, and you should be getting those patterns in your inbox if you received one. Other than that, we can dive pretty quickly into my finished objects this morning. I have quite a few to actually show you. I took a little longer between recording podcast, and I feel like it's really shown in some of the things that I have been able to finish. A lot of them are definitely like single skein quick projects that I've been focusing on this December. So there's 4 finished objects today, but they're definitely all kind of small. But that's okay. I'm excited to show you guys. As always, in the description box down below, I link to my Ravelry project pages. I will link to patterns if I can find them off of Ravelry. And there are timestamps, so if you need to jump forward or back to rewatch things, that's all there. They should do chapters in YouTube, and it should kind of like auto-populate those on the side with what I've called those chapters. And yeah, also down below is links to my Ravelry account, my Instagram, my email if you need to email me, and if you would like to support the channel on Ko-Fi, that link is also down there as well. But with that, let's dive into what I have finished working on since the last podcast episode. So the first thing I have finished since the last episode was a project that was pretty close to being done in episode 40. It is these DRK Everyday Socks, which I did for my husband Shane. I did these out of Desert Vista Dye Works Viso base, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and the colorway was Spaceship Earth. So it's this really fun variegated yarn, and I did the 2 socks. Honestly, I think they kind of pulled and matched very similarly, and I was very close to finishing these on the last episode and have now finished them. I've like basically finished them, gave them to Shane. I was like, try these on, make sure they fit, and he tried both of them, and I was like, great, now give them back. And his response was like, why did you give them to me if you're just going to take them back? And I was like, well, I have to show them on the podcast. And I have this whole system where I have a basket that everything goes in that I need to show, because otherwise I will forget. So they had to live in the basket until they were done. But now that I've shown them to you guys, I can give them to him to wear. So these socks are knit from the toe up, and it's a 2x2 rib throughout the sock. There is a fleagle heel and then this is the heel turn, and then you do 2x2 rib up the leg as well. For Shane, I did the adult medium size of these socks. He wears a size 10.5 to 11 men's shoe, and I knit a bit looser, so he likes his socks fitting a bit snugger. The ribbing, I think, will definitely help with that snug feeling on his socks. On the blockers, they look kind of normal, but when you take these socks off the blockers, they do look a bit funny. As you can see, because the toe doesn't have any ribbing and it ribs in until you get to the heel. I do really enjoy this Flegel heel. It seems to go pretty quickly. But you do have to increase quite a few stitches. And then for the bind off on these, I believe I just did the sewn bind off by Crazy Sock Lady, her tutorial on how to do that. It does flare a bit, but once it's stretched, I don't think it will flare. So these socks are done. These were my November Does It Vista Dye Works socks entry. I finished pretty close to the deadline last month, but that's pretty typical. So these are done. Hopefully Shane likes them. And yeah, I think the ribbing will go over really, really well. And yeah, I know I've mentioned the past couple times, I'm still on the verdict on whether 2x2 ribbing is mindless for me. I do have to pay attention to my hands, so it's not the most mindless knitting out there for me. But I do really enjoy the kind of rhythmic quality of a 2x2 rib. I just don't know if they're going to be like my go-to socks for everything that I knit. So the next thing that I finished this month is my entry for the Does It Vista Dye Works sock challenge for the month of December. Look at that. We are more than halfway through the month, but I finished these like pretty early in the month. I think around the 7th or 8th. That's crazy for me. So these are the Palmistry DK Mittens, and this pattern is by Stephanie Lotvin. So this is what they look like. So for this month, this yarn is also the Viso base, so 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and this is the colorway Chahuga Valley. It's another variegated color. I just thought some like white mittens would be really, really fun. I held the yarn double to get a DK because the Viso base is a fingering weight base. But I did the mittens, held them double, and they knit up so quickly. Oh my gosh. So this is what it looks like on. I'm super excited. So you just have a 1x1 cuff for a couple inches and then do a couple rounds of stockinette before doing these gusset increases on your thumb. These are very, very easy to do. They're just make one lefts or make one rights depending on which finger or glove, mitten, which hand you're doing. You do your increases, you put your stitches on hold for your thumb, knit some stockinette, and then do decreases just like a toe basically for the top. Pick up stitches, do a couple rounds, do some rapid decreases for the thumb, and that's your mitten. It was so fast. I really love how this gusset looks. It looks really cool. I do think my thumb looks very, very short, but rest assured my thumb is right there. That is the length of my thumb. I did like the palm length in the pattern versus what I had to knit was much shorter than what was called for in the pattern, but that is what I think is really nice about mittens, is you can just try them on, see how it fits, and knit to what other length you need it to be. So those are my two palmistry mitts. I really, really love them. I did knit these on DPNs. I don't knit on double pointed needles very often, but Magic Loop was just not calling to me, and DPNs were what I was enjoying. The size needles I used. I used a 3mm for the ribbing down here, and then a 3.5mm for the main part of the mitten. And yeah, they knit up so quickly. I will definitely be adding more mittens into my Desivisa Dye Works rotation, I think, because yeah, the speed at which these knit up made getting this done for the month really fun. I also don't have any mittens, so I'm excited to have these. It's supposed to be really, really cold next week, and like I think my coworker was telling me it was supposed to be 4 degrees or so. So I'm happy to have these. I think they will be lovely to, you know, have for the cold weather. When I was a kid, I never liked mittens. I didn't like how, like I lost access to all these fingers, but I've listened to some other people talk, and something about having all your fingers together gets more warmth to them since they're not like all separate, and the cold can kind of attack all your fingers. Your fingers are kind of in this little blanket together so that they can keep each other warm. And if anything, it'll just prevent me from like scrolling on my phone when we're out and about. And I think this color looks super cute and will match many, many things in my wardrobe. And don't they just look cute? Doesn't that just warm your heart, just seeing mittens? So I'm excited I did these. The other really cool thing about the Palmistry DK pattern is Stephanie, the designer, has written a palmistry, a regular palmistry, Palmistry DK, Palmistry Worsted, and Palmistry Bulky. And if you buy any of those patterns, you can then add the other weight pattern to your cart in Ravelry, and then it's free. So basically, if you buy one weight of the pattern, you can then get all the weights essentially, which is pretty cool. It's pretty cool the way she's done that. So then if you ever search for mittens, it'll pop up, but then she has the separate patterns and like stitch counts for all the different weights, but it's basically an all-in-one mitten pattern, which is pretty cool. With all that to say, I'm excited I knit these, and I'm just very excited to incorporate more mittens into my future knitting because it was a very quick and gratifying knit. So then I went a little crazy. If you've been watching some of my Vlogmas, I've just been posting a couple random vlogs throughout December. I say random because I'm not really putting them up with any set schedule. It's just when I record a day and feel like I can edit it and put it together and put it up is when a Vlogmas episode goes up on my channel. But if you watched one of my Vlogmases over the past weekend, I decided I wanted to make stockings. The stockings Jane and I both have are pretty sentimental handmade stockings from when we were younger, and we wanted, well, I wanted something more functional, something cute for the fireplace. So I had found this pattern by Pearl Soho called the Snow Day Stockings, and it looked like exactly what I needed. It is a super bulky stocking with yarn held double, and yeah, super quick, super easy, exactly what I needed for wanting to have stockings to display and use this holiday season. I would like to make colorwork stockings, but that's like a next year Kristen thing to figure out and knit. I need something a bit quicker this year. So we went to Joann's and I got this yarn to make these stockings, and I knit 2 stockings, and now I'll show you and I'll stop teasing you, but this is what the stocking looks like. So it's a real chunky sock. It's real cute. So you knit these toe up and you hold the yarn double. So I got super bulky yarn. This yarn is called Respun, and it's by Lion Brand Yarns. It's 100% recycled polyester, which I think is pretty cool. Try to limit the amount of polyester I bring into the house or plastic that we use, but with it being recycled, I felt really good about using this yarn. So you hold it double to do your toe increases, and then you'll switch to holding one green and one yellow, or whatever, one cream and one green, marl it together. There's a wrap and turn short row heel, which if you've never done one, this is a great way to practice because you're doing it on like nice chunky yarn and it's not very many stitches. But then you do that, you do your leg for as long as you'd like, switch back to holding your cream color double, and then bind off, make a little bit of an I-cord, and then Kitchener it down so it's nice and smooth. And yeah, we've already hung these onto our mantle, and it's a very, very dense fabric, which is good because we've already put candy and like stuff in each of our stockings, and it stretches maybe a little bit, but it's not like sagging and like falling down, which is very, very good. So it's very dense. I knit it with a US 15 needle holding that super bulky yarn double. It was definitely not the easiest thing on my hands, and I don't know if I would say this is necessarily the most beginner friendly of patterns, because you do a provisional cast on to start, and then you're increasing. Once you get past the toe, it's more beginner friendly, but that double super bulky yarn held together is definitely like a lot to like maneuver and move around. So yeah, I did do it with the US 15s. It calls for a 17 in the pattern. However, my Xiaogu interchangeable set, the biggest size I have in there is a 15, and I didn't want to buy more needles. So I did US 15 magic loop to make these. And I knit the first stocking basically in a day and knit the second stocking the next day on the weekend. Very, very quick knit and very fun. I think they look really cute. So, and they're definitely serving the function of holding our stuff for Christmas. So, like I said, next year I would like to make some colorwork stockings. They're so cute and I don't have them and I want them in my life. So if anything, next year these stockings can become Ebony's and Sherlock stockings, who are our pets, our cat and our dog. And yeah, it was just something that called to me and I followed that call, knit the stockings, and felt really good about it. Okay, so then the final thing I have finished. I haven't shared much of this on my Vlogmases because I've been trying to do it in secret, and I do think I have done this successfully in secret. So these are some DK socks that I knit for Shane as well. Again, another super quick, kind of easy project. I had started these a while ago and then they were hibernating, but I pulled them back out to finish them for Christmas. So let me pop them on the blockers. But these are DK vanilla socks, and I use the pattern by Crazy Sock Lady K Litten, but I did sub in a different heel for these socks. So now that they're on the blockers, let me show you what they look like. So these are the socks that I knit for Shane. I think they look really fun. So DK vanilla socks, I knit these on a US 3.25 millimeter needle. I knit these cuff down. I did 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing here. I then did 35 rounds of stockinette for the leg, and then I did a German short row heel, which is different than what is in the Crazy Sock Lady pattern, but I think it's a heel that fits Shane pretty nicely and it's very quick to do. So that is what it looks like. And then I did the foot. I believe it was 45 or so rounds for his foot. And then I did the toe that is written in the pattern. I started these in October because this yarn is technically a Halloween yarn. This is how much I have left. But it is by Bumblebee Acres. This is the squishy DK sock base. It's 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon, and this is a DK weight sock. So again, for these, I did the adult medium size for Shane. So it was 48 stitches for these socks, and they were just really fun to knit. So I had probably about this much when I picked it back up, and I had decided that I was going to knit these for Shane as a Christmas present, but didn't want him to know, so I was doing it kind of in secret. So I just, basically what that means is I just didn't work on them when he was in the same room. In the mornings, I usually sit on the couch, watch some Vlogmas, and I'm upstairs, usually pretty alone. Shane usually like wakes up with his coffee in his office in the morning. He also starts working much earlier than what I start working. So he's usually in his office doing work stuff pretty early while I'm still waking up, enjoying my knitting and my coffee in the morning. So I would work on them in the mornings, and then in the evenings, Shane and I usually watch some TV together, so I would work on something else. But when he goes and plays his video games, he's been playing a lot of World of Warcraft lately because the new expansion came out, and basically he's just doing that all the time. So I had tons of knitting time alone to work on these without him knowing. So he is at work today, so I can record this pretty easily. I don't think I'm going to block these just because if I block them, I'm going to have to leave them kind of like out in the open. So now that I've shown them, I'm probably going to wrap them up, put them under the tree, and call it a day. I don't know, something about the idea of knitting some socks and getting them done for him for Christmas was pretty inspiring, motivating. I don't know. I just wanted to get him some socks. So technically this color, like I said, is a Halloween color. It's called Pumpkin Ghoul, which I don't think I mentioned. But honestly, I just feel like they look like a really pretty kind of campfire, which I think is pretty cool. I think just like the little like black with gray moving to the different shades of orange and red just look really, really nice. And he definitely needs some more socks in his sock drawer, so I thought this would be fun to do. So yeah, those are all of my finished objects. I have quite a stack. I do have 2 of these stockings. I just only brought one off the mantle because I had emptied all the stuff out. This is Shane's that I put the stuff into, so I was fine taking the stuff out. I didn't want to take the stocking that he has put stuff in for me that I don't know about. So this is my stack of finished objects for so far. Yeah, like I said, lots of like single skein projects, really fast, quick knits. It's just kind of where my brain has been at. I've been really enjoying the, I don't know, the endorphin rush of like finishing a project. So yeah, plus this is like a nice little, doesn't it look like a nice little stack? It's so cute. So that is that, and those are those. Something I forgot to mention is what I'm wearing. This is my Chalet Days sweater, which I test knit for Samantha Gurin. I love her designs, but I knit this all out of Knit Picks Wool of the Andes. It is the non-superwash worsted weight base. I do not remember the colors other than pretty sure this is Dove Heather. But all the colorways are linked in my Ravelry project page, and I will make sure to include that down below as well. We can move into what I have been working on and knitting on the past couple of weeks then. I still think it's pretty similar in the vein of kind of, maybe not. These aren't necessarily quick knits, which is probably why a lot of the things that I have finished are quick knits, because I've been trying to intersperse them in with some of my larger projects that I have been working on. So the first pattern I'm working on is the Harlow Worsted by Andrea Mowry. I decided to knit this as a gift, so it's been taking up a lot of my time. It's a lot of my main focus right now because I would like to finish it and get it mailed out this weekend. So yeah, I mean, it's been going pretty well. This is what it looks like so far. Ta-da! Look at this hat. So cute. So I'm using totally scrap yarn. I didn't use any new skeins from Stash, which in the premise of stashing down isn't really helping that goal because I don't count scraps as stash, but it does help getting through my stash, my scrap stash. But anyway, this outside color is Patton's Worsted. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Patton's Classic Wool Worsted. This is the color 4. Dark gray mix. This is what it looks like. I had basically a full skein of this in my scrap drawer. I don't remember from what. I know I done a couple Mawson hats and maybe I had just like had to break into a new one to finish up. So that is this main color on this side. And then we're gonna see if I can switch this without ruining or losing any stitches. So then this side, which is much, much brighter, this is my contrast color. And this hat is reversible, so that's what's really cool about flipping inside out. So this color is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash, and it's the color Avocado. And this is leftovers from a Vertices Unite that I did for my stepsister. And so I had some of that left over. So I put that as the other color, and I think it's a really fun pop. So the Harlow Worsted is knit. It is a brioche, 2-color brioche in the round hat. I've only done brioche in my Slipstravaganza. Not Slipstravaganza. I did brioche in my Stephen West MCal shawl from 2 years ago, and I've done one Harlow Worsted before for Shane. So this is only my 3rd time doing brioche, and I feel like my brioche is getting better. I'm learning how to fix the mistakes. There's definitely a few mistakes in here of like where I messed up a little bit, but it'll be okay. It's hard to see, but I really love how squishy and squashy this like stitch makes. It looks very stretchy, so that's kind of what it looks like when you stretch it out, and when you put it together it just looks like a nice ribbed hat, kind of with like a peak of color popping through. I really think the avocado is a fun color choice, definitely more like a when you're feeling a little bright, that's a good color. Otherwise it's just like a nice peak pop through. Yeah, so I just have done 1 decrease round so far, so I'm getting pretty close. I have a few more rounds to do. I don't know how many more decrease rounds I have. I am playing a little bit of yarn chicken. This is how much of my avocado I have left. Is it going to be enough? Probably not. If it is, I'm gonna be very, very tickled and surprised. Otherwise, I will probably find, I'm pretty sure I have some more greens, like worsted greens left over in my stash, that it'll just be like a nice like color block on the top. I hope it'll look okay. It'll look great. I'm very excited. I think it's going really well. I started this on Monday. Today is Friday. And it's just been really fun to work on. And I'm excited to finish it and get it mailed out to its recipient. I'm hoping to mail out my packages this weekend. The needles I'm using for this are my ChiaoGoo blue interchangeable set. I did go down 1 needle size in the pattern because the first time I knit the Harlow Worsted, it is a little too big. So I did a US 4 for the ribbing, and then I should have gone to a US 5 for the main hat, but I did a 6 because normally you go down 2 needle sizes for ribbing, but this pattern is written to only go down 1 needle size. So I did go up to a US 6, but I do think like going from the US 4 to the US 6 is pretty seamless. I think it's pretty hard to tell where you change, so I don't think it'll really matter. You just go down a needle size or 2 for the ribbing, even though the whole hat is ribbed, just to keep it a little snugger. Yeah, and I did do a 2-color tubular bind on for this, so you can see here where kind of like the gray just kind of starts, and then on the green side how the green also just kind of starts and goes down with no real other color showing through. So I think that is a really nice touch. It is a little finicky for the result. I would probably just do a German twisted cast on in the future. I don't know. The verdict's still out there. I think both ways could look really great. The one nice thing about a 2-color tubular cast on is you tie the knot and then keep going. So you, Shane is home, so Sherlock's gonna work. The nice thing about the 2-color tubular cast on is that you tie a knot to start the cast on, and then you just kind of go and you won't run out of yarn, which is the one really, really nice thing about it. But it does have some setup rows to it, but does make a nice result. So that's the first thing I've been working on. It's probably and will remain my main focus until I finish. But since I'm on the decrease rows, hopefully that'll be done very soon and I can mail it out pretty quickly. So the next couple things I've been working on are my Advent projects. So in Vlogmas, I've opened some of my Advents where mostly I get little skeins of yarn every day to open and use, which has been really, really fun. So the first Advent project I've been working on are my Cozy Knitter Advent socks, which is a 24 stripe self-striping sock yarn, and every day you knit 1 color. So I am not caught up. I am only through a couple days. I've only done through 13 of the colors, but this is what it looks like so far. I am doing these concurrently, so I have 2 50-gram cakes, and each day I knit on a stripe, or that is the goal. I haven't been knitting necessarily a stripe every day because I've been really focusing on that hat. But I am doing these toe up like this. And then I decided I would be doing a Flegel heel on these as well. I was able to find instructions on the internet on how to do it. Basically, you start increasing when your end of your sock, or when you try it on toe up, this hits the bend in your ankle on your foot. That thing right there. And then that's when you would start increasing, and you increase so that the stitches on your back needle are 2 stitches less than your original stitch count. So I knit 56 stitch socks, and I would start increasing every other round until I get to 54 stitches on the back needle, or the back half of my sock. Since I'm doing it on 9-inch circulars, I just place my marker on the back half of my stitches and start increasing until I get to 54. And then I will start my heel turn. And for my heel turn, I'm just going to be using a undyed sock yarn that I have from when I was going, I have a bunch of undyed yarn from when I thought I would dye yarn, and I practiced it a bit, but it wasn't really for me, so now I just have a bunch of undyed yarn. So once I get to 54 stitches, I will do that, but I've just been enjoying these. I think the color looks really fun. I do think this section, comparatively to this section, is very bright, and this is more like a muted kind of Christmas. But yeah, it's been really, really fun to work on. Both of them have some nice fun holiday stitch markers on them. So this is my hot cocoa, and this one has my little Christmas tree cupcake. So yeah, these it's very quick to do a stripe each day. I've just not picked them up the past couple days because I've been wanting to work on that hat. My camera was overheating from the sun, so I had to take a little break. So then the next project I've been working on is also one that I'm doing with my Advents. This one I got completely inspired by Kay from the Crazy Sock Lady. I was watching her Vlogmases and really loved this project that she was doing and wanted to make one as well. So this is the Anthology Throw by Helen Stewart, and I'm using my 2021 Nora George Advent Calendar for this project. So this Advent Calendar faded pretty nicely from what I remember from opening it last year, and so I thought I'd make a really pretty blanket. So this is my Anthology Throw so far. It's really hard to show because I'm on a tiny circular comparatively to what the circumference of this blanket is so far. So you can see it's kind of like bunching out. So I've done 3 colors so far. 1, 2, maybe I'm on the 4th color. And yeah, I've been really enjoying this. I did talk about it on one of my Vlogmases because other people have run out of yarns before it's mentioned in the pattern that you should switch. And I actually ran out of yarn on my 2nd skein, switching to my 3rd. I ran out about 20 stitches early. So I ended up switching early, and I decided I would probably just knit until I ran out of each color. But then when I started going from my 3rd to my 4th color, I ended up doing a couple, like 3 to 4 more rounds than when the color change happens in the pattern. So then I was like, well, do I switch now? I don't know what to do. But basically what I've decided is I'll just knit until I run out of each color and change when I run out. So this is now the color I am working on, and it's just slowly fading as I go. It's just a really beautiful lacy blanket. You'll do a couple rounds of stockinette, just knitting, and then you'll do a round of like lace eyelet rows, which is really, really fun. It's really nice and simple to do. And when I do pick this up, it's very meditative to work on. Again, I've just been really focusing on that hat, so some other projects have gone to the side the past couple of days, but next week I'm taking some time off for my birthday, so I'll definitely have more time to knit and work on some of these projects. And it's just been really fun to work on. I've just been really enjoying it. So then the last project I want to show is my Mystery Advent Knit Along Shawl, which is a pattern released by Molly Klatt from a homespun house. It was a 2019 Mystery Advent Knit Along, but now the pattern is out fully. So I had bought a kit, an Advent kit from a homespun house's shop last year, and I'm working through it this year. So I have finished the first color, which is this pretty red burgundy color, and I've started into the second color. I'm pretty sure this color is called Cinnamon Stick, and I'm holding it double with the mohair. So this is really fun to work on. So this first section had some eyelet rows, which are kind of hard to see on the camera. Maybe if I stretch it out a bit. Yeah. So you can see some of the eyelets there. And then this section is like a slip stitch pattern that's making a really, really cool texture. And so every Sunday I open a new 50-gram mini. Technically I was supposed to open one on Sunday because it was the 3rd Sunday, but I'm a little behind. But this has been so snuggly and lovely to work on, and will definitely be something I will wear a ton once I finish. So I wanted to just show a quick progress check up on that. I think once I finish my Harlow hat, that's just like the resounding theme of my work in progresses right now. Like that is the focus, and then I can move back to some of these other projects that I'm working on. but I've definitely been enjoying my knitting through December. I can feel like my focus is shifting very quickly. I want to work on smaller, quicker projects, and some of the longer ones, like I'll pick up and I'll put down, work on something quick, go back to some of these bigger blanket and shawl projects. The nice thing with the Anthology Throw is it's like 20 grams of a color. So if anything, I can like pick up 20 grams, try to work through that, and then I can put it down. And then when I want to start the next color, I can. I am also working on just like a vanilla sock. This is also yarn from a homespun house. This is the Christmas PJ sock set. I bought this sock set last year, and I'm very excited to be working on it now. So I've really only done the cuff, and now I'm on the stockinette leg. But this is my on-the-go kind of project for right now. Yeah, it's just a good vanilla sock to have, especially since I finished my Does It Visit Dye Work socks for the month. I can just kind of work on this, pick it up, and take it with me on the go for when we're out doing things. Because none of the other really work in progress projects are good for on the go. They're definitely all kind of like sit down and focus type of projects. The Anthology Throw is definitely a work at home project only. The Cozy Knitter socks are easy to take out. However, you're only doing a stripe a day, so it doesn't take a lot of time. And this Advent shawl I could take with me. However, it's just a little more to carry around. So that's all my works in progress, and I did want to show you guys some of the acquisitions or new things that I've brought into my stash. So Nomadic Yarns is also a self-striping yarn dyer, and they had a holiday update, so I bought a couple skeins from them. So I got this color. This is Holiday Spirit, and I got the Brit sock base, so it's 400 yards for a 100-gram gumball. So I thought it would look so cute. And it's 80% superwash BFL and a 20% nylon. I love a BFL sock, so very excited to work on these. And I can stretch 100 grams pretty far, so that's why I did that. And then I also got this color, which is called the Mountain Bed. So less holiday themed, but I do really like the colors. This is also the Brit sock, so this is 80% superwash BFL and 20% nylon, but I got a 50-gram skein of this because I can get a sock for me out of 50 grams pretty easily, and I can just use like an undyed white or something for heels, cuffs, and toes if I would like to stretch it out just a little bit farther. So I just thought this was a really pretty color, wintry, something I just want on my feet. So I got that as well. I've also acquired a few hand stitching kits. I've just been enjoying embroidery and want to incorporate more of it. And I also got a cross stitch kit that I think is really funny. So this is the embroidery kit that I got. If you've been around, you may know I love moose, and this is a moose, and very excited for this. This is a kit by Hook, Line, and Tinker. They make great kits, so everything is in here with the printed cotton fabric, the hoop, the floss, the needles, and instructions. So that's very exciting. And then this cross stitch kit that I got is not PG. It is rated M, mature. So this is a kit from Junebug and Darling, and this is what it says. I really want to make this and hang it in our bathroom. I think it'll be very funny. So I got this. Excited to make both of those. I don't know when I'll get around to doing them. I have many kits now that I have to work on. But yeah, that is basically all the knitting and fibery content that I have to share with you guys today. If you've stuck around this long, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to know when I post future videos, hit subscribe. It'll pop me into your feed when I do post my future videos. I do have to sign off now because my camera is overheating because the sun is coming through this window. The winter time and playing with when to record with the sun is definitely a battle. So, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have put a little bit of love in every stitch of your making. Thank you for clicking, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Have a great winter.